Hi, this is Josh, the owner of Shamma Sandals, and today on Run With Us we are here in Los Gatos, California at Vasona Park, and our plan is to run about 7 miles. We're going to run to Lexington Reservoir and back on this cool bike path, so let's get going.
It's quick energy for sports performance, carbs, electrolytes, and vitamin B and C.
What's this exercise called, Sean?
This is called the inchworm. You'd be surprised how little thought I ever use. How far are we?
Go.
Sean's losing it.
That little marker there we were just looking at, it's 3 miles, and I actually ran here earlier in the week. I've been here before. One other time I've ran here, and then yeah, there's this awesome path, and it goes from basically downtown Los Gatos up to Lexington Reservoir is where we're gonna finally arrive, and that trip is about 6.5 miles. You'll see those markers every so often, and I'm assuming the starting point is the top of the dam.
These beans are a problem.
What kind of beans are those, Sean?
These are to prevent me from dying, like when we went from Pogo Nip to Chinkapin.
How hungry are you, Sean?
I'm so hungry I could ride a horse.
Ride a horse?
Yeah.
I think you got that backwards. How many calories will you eat?
Enough for a week.
How did you not die, Sean?
Some lovely couple on a bike was willing to part ways with their jelly belly beans.
How bad was it, Sean?
I was crawling, and I told Josh not to film, but it was stupid. He should have filmed. It was a 13-mile run because we got lost, and I hadn't done a run like that for a while. I also forgot my keys because we had to run to my car after dropping off my car, so we added an extra mile.
That was 2 miles.
2 miles. Goodness. So it was really, really intense for me. This is just a safety precaution.
It's gonna be pretty hard to get lost on this trail.
It's straightforward.
Yeah, we're not actually gonna leave this trail at all. It was pretty amazing though, because Sean was so desperate for food. He just laid down on the side of the trail. We had about 1.5 miles, 2 miles to go, and he really couldn't go any farther. And he had to ask these mountain bikers for some food, and they were kind enough to give him some jelly beans and some water. And I was worried too. I thought, I didn't know if he could make it. I kept trying to encourage him, but it wasn't working. As we're running along this path, there is a creek that's right next to us, this little waterway. And so what's feeding this is Lexington Reservoir, which is filled up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and it comes down into Los Gatos. I actually have a lot of good memories of Los Gatos in this area because Santa Cruz is about 20-25 minutes away. Growing up, we'd come out here and our family would ride on this bike path, and it'll take you for miles in towards San Jose, and it's really cool. A lot of fun as a kid. There's some great parks and things along the way, a lot of great sights. But last year I decided to run towards the levee, or towards Lexington Dam, which I'd never done before, and I'd been dealing with some pulled calf muscle issues like for months, and I really hadn't been running too much, and it was really like a good comeback run where I kind of was able to straighten out some of my issues. Number 2, so we're 2 miles away from the dam, the top of the dam. Look at this, this is cool.
Awesome bridge.
Sean was pointing out that this
It looks like a water park.
this water canal or channel or whatever you want to call it right now that's coming out of Lexington looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Looks like some spots, like if you had your inner tube or
Your river rat.
your river rat or
Yeah.
your little raft, it'd be a lot of fun to go down that thing. There's another one up ahead. There's a bunch of cool spots.
They should start making people pay to come here.
Well, growing up, we grew up right above a creek. And, you know, every winter when it would rain, it's just too tempting not to take your little raft and go floating down the creek. And it would get pretty intense. There'd be a few little rapids and stuff. We wouldn't go that far. My cousin and some of my brothers, we all got in our gear and we got in the creek while it was raging and we tried floating down it. And we were at our neighbor's property and he was downstream a bit and we got in and it was just too rough for us to go. Too many rocks and it didn't work. And the raft got away from us and it just floated down the stream. And so our neighbor, he found it and he thought, oh my gosh, all these kids must have died and they're here in my creek somewhere. I gotta fish them out. He called up my dad and was like, hey, are your kids all right? I saw their raft. We were fine. We just hopped out, but we couldn't hang on to that raft. So far, this trail has been nice and easy. It's been a very, very gentle climb. And we have about a mile to go, and it's gonna turn horrible. This is the point in the run where it's just gonna go straight uphill. What's this exercise called, Sean?
This is called the inchworm. I've been researching bugs lately, and I think that if inchworms were the size of us, and their brains were up to size, they would be the master race. And they would probably put humans, they'd replace humans eventually. So I'm trying to emulate our future overlords.
Sean, you put a lot of thought into this.
You'd be surprised how little thought I ever use. How far are we?
So we made it all the way to the top of the dam, and we're here at Lexington Reservoir, and it's a completely different feel than being down in that little canyon in the valley. So we got the reservoir behind us and the Santa Cruz Mountains back that way. That last little run is a hard push. This trail is really nice, but that last half mile is it's serious running. I guess I would say that this is a great time of year to be here. It's nice and cool and cold. In fact, there was snow here on the Santa Cruz Mountains just this last week. So we actually were up here right on the tops of the mountains with snow. It's a real rare thing for Santa Cruz. You know, maybe there'll be snow once every other year, a couple of years. It was a lot of fun. We had a good snowball fight. In any case, it's a beautiful day, great running weather. The way in was about 3.6 miles. So this run's gonna be a little more than 7 miles, that's a good solid run. Right, Sean?
Yeah, I haven't used any sensu beans yet.
Nope. So there it is, out there across the Santa Clara Valley. The mountains are capped with snow, which is really cool. It's a pretty rare thing, but there it is. So this is a really nice part of the run because we've gotten away from the freeway a little bit. There's that section where it's pretty loud when you're right next to the freeway. Now we're in the neighborhoods. You can hear the cars off in the distance, but mostly you hear the creek running, and we're in these nice little neighborhoods and cool trees all around down here kind of in the creek bed. And the path is awesome. It's really fun. A lot of curves, park benches, and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty much an ideal place to run, especially actually once spring hits and all the leaves coming back on these trees. This would just all be shade. So good place probably in the summertime to run. So here we are, we just got back to the bridge, the starting point of our run. We've run 6.85 miles. It's been a really good run. It's pretty mellow. It's a nice, asphalt path the whole way, but there's a lot of interesting turns and bridges and trees and in the creek bed and out of the creek bed, and then finally up the mountain or up the reservoir or the dam up to Lexington Reservoir. So it's interesting, it's a lot of fun. I definitely would recommend this in like the fall, winter, or spring. In the summer, it would be way too hot for me here. So I would just say forget it in the summer. But it's been a fun run. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time on Run With Us. Thanks for running with us. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button.